Welcome to Otakus and Geeks, the hour. Join Justin, Nadya, Sean, Jerrell, and guest panelists as they discuss the latest news, give reviews, and conduct interviews in all things entertainment. Without further ado, let's start the show.
All right, we're here back with episode 7 of Otakus and Geeks, the hour. This is part 2 of Origins. And today we got more of ONG here. We have Nadya, how you doing?
What's it?
Jerrell.
What it is.
We got Sean here.
What's going on?
And of course, Ashley's back as well for part 2 of the Origins. So as me and Ashley were talking about the journey of Otakus and Geeks and Origins. One, how it got started, how it went from artistic wings to Otakus and Geeks, and just how the beginning stages are. We wanted to include everybody else in their kind of origins. Obviously, Sean could talk about how he got in ONG, a little bit about his years of his experience of the first couple of years. Jerrell, you can talk about Red Eyes, how it got started, and obviously Nadya will talk about the beginnings of Gotham Geek Girl. So we're going to talk a little bit first about how you guys got started. So actually, I want to start off with Nadya, because this is the story I actually don't know. How did you start Gotham Geek Girl? How did that all come about?
Cool. So I was actually an art student. I went to Fashion High School, and then I went to FIT, and I was an illustration student. I got my BFA in illustration. While I was at FIT, I had the amazing opportunity to intern at Marvel. So this is way back in the day. It was digital production when it was the first time kind of that digital comics was coming about. This is back when like PlayStation Portable was a thing. So my job was kind of to make comics accessible for like a digital platform. And convention wise, I've been going to New York Comic Con since it started at Javits. So I've been going since like 2007 when I graduated high school. So about that time that I started college. So yeah, I've been going to New York Comic Con every year and see how it's changed drastically over the years. It's become crazy, insanely crowded now. But I started covering conventions professionally within the last maybe 8 years, I would say. Before that, it was more so just attending like as a fan and meeting artists and being an artist. But then over time, I kind of changed more into writing and focusing on writing. So years ago, I went to this convention called Women in Comics. I'm always giving them a shout out. But that was kind of a point where I was like, you know what? I enjoy interacting with people and showcasing their work more. Like drawing for me, it's kind of something I still kind of don't do as much, but more for myself. When it comes to writing, I kind of like sharing more. So going to these conventions and stuff, I started interviewing my friends and interviewing other artists. My old boss from Marvel, he's the artist on Black. And I interviewed him and Kari Randolph. Used to go to Kari's Drink and Draw. So I was always like involved in the community, and I kind of wanted to make a platform where I can like tell and share like everyone's stories kind of thing.
Wow. So you started at Marvel and ended up Gotham Geek Girl?
Kind of, yeah.
So
How'd you choose the name?
Yeah. How did that come about, the name?
Oh, yes. So that's a funny story. So I had like a breakup or whatever. This was like, I don't know, probably like 8 years ago or something. And I don't know, I was just like in a weird place. And I was at my cousin's house in Jersey one day, and we were just like talking ideas, and I was like, yeah, like I really want to like, I don't know, do something like more, I don't know, like covering and writing, and I go to conventions all the time, so like I photograph things, I might as well write about it. And then me and my cousin were just like throwing out random ideas. I think one of the first I had was something like simple, like comic book girl, but I think there was that already existed. And then my second one, I think, was Geek Girl. Something like, it was very simple. And then me and my cousin were like, you love Batman. Like, let's try to incorporate that. And then we were like, Gotham. And I was like, yes. And then it just came to be.
That seems to be a theme of the Ashley breakups lead to
how
a
relationships
website being built.
how relationships
Epiphanies and genius ideas.
Yep, how toxic relationships ended, and then you find your calling. Yep.
You found you found the website like Otakus the Geeks happened because I was dating a Japanese girl at the time, and she's like, "You're an otaku," and then next thing you know, I was like, "It's actually brilliant. I'm gonna use that shit." And then it was just like kind of like this kind of revenge type of thing at the same time. I was just like, "I'm gonna make this shit successful. You're gonna fucking watch," and boom, and kind of got my revenge.
That's why. So I said it's either somebody's superhero origin story or the villain origin story.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, kind of is. Jerrell, so how did you? Because I know you alluded in the Arrowverse is like the Arrowverse was the reason you started the channel. But how did this you wanting to start covering things happen? And Red Eyes, what's the beginning of all that?
I mean, well, that happened by accident because just like everybody else, I was actually going through a divorce during.
See,
like,
this
during,
is
yeah, like
we
during
can
this whole
see,
period.
man.
So it basically started because, like you said, like I was watching the Arrowverse, all the shows were on, like Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, like everything was on. I said I was going through my divorce, I was sitting home, not doing anything, wallowing in my own self-pity. And I used to listen to AfterBuzz TV because they would do like after shows, for all types of TV shows. And there was a certain group of people that would always talk about different like Arrowverse TV shows. When they did the Crisis, like the Crisis on Infinite Earth, they messed it up to where the panel, like they had a specific panel of people that reviewed certain shows. But when the crossover came, they tried to do something where they mixed up the different panels of people, and other people weren't aware about other shows. And they completely botched the reviews for the for the crossover. And it just pissed me off to the point where I was just like, somebody who actually cares about these shows needs to talk about it. And then when I found out that Arrow was ending, that's what made me say, I was like, you know what, maybe I was like, well, screw it, because none of these people care about these shows like that. They don't even understand like the truth, and everything. And I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to do it myself. So, if you go back and watch like my first reviews, like it looked like trash, but it was just more about me just like, my whole thing was like, I'm the only one that cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually care about these shows, and damn it, I'm going to talk about it from a perspective of someone that gives a shit. When I started the YouTube channel, I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing this to become famous or to make money. I'm just doing this because somebody needs to actually give these shows like, the respect that they deserve. And then that's when and it's a lot, like, cause there was like 9 shows on the CW at the time, but like I was doing all of them. And then it just started. When I decided to go to Comic-Con, I was just going to go to record random footage. But then, when I got there, people were like dressed in costume, and then I saw people dressed like Supergirl and like different characters. And I just happened to have my microphone with me. And there was just this one guy, like I believe he was dressed up like the Joker. And then something just made me go up to him and just be like, hey, like, how did you put this costume together? And then he was real friendly. Like, he answered the questions, like we got him on film. And then that's when it dawned on me. I was just like, and then this is like, I had met Nadya at the time, and I was like, people that do cosplay, they put a lot of time and effort like into these costumes. Like, people were telling me that they paid for certain things, like they were home stitching and doing all this stuff. I was like, why would you go through all that trouble and not want to talk to somebody? So I just spent the whole day just walking around, just looking for cosplayers to talk to, but not the ones that, just wear something skimpy, smile, and get like, I'm talking about people who you can tell like legitimately gave a shit and like put effort in. Because if you look at any of my Comic-Con videos, there's a certain type of person that I talk to. Like, there's a certain type of person that I talk to, and that just happened by accident. Like, my brother was with me. He didn't even know how to operate a camera, but he just helped me do the camera thing, and then it ended up getting some traction. The name Red Eyes Entertainment came about because obviously, like, I'm known as the icon, and my favorite color is red. But so I just merged like the two together. But because I was going through a divorce at the time, the Red Eyes thing was more like the internal pain I was also going through during the process of me putting everything together. Because I was also doing my Shadow Warriors movie trailer. Like, we were doing the filming for that. So when I finished the Shadow Warriors movie trailer, I put that on my YouTube channel. And then that's when I actually started telling people I had a YouTube channel. because I was doing the reviews for the DV shows for a year before I told anybody that I had a YouTube channel. But once I finished my movie, you know, my movie trail, that's when I was just like, you know what, maybe I should brand this, or maybe I should actually. And then, you know, years later, like the trailer's over like 2K in viewership, and I just made 300 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So now I got artwork and everything. And but it wasn't, like I said, it's a pleasant accident, you know, because this whole thing started out of like anger. It started from like divorce and anger.
That seems to be the theme.
Yep.
Sean, are you also joining us in this origin of supervillains with the Broken Heart Club?
No, my life wasn't that complicated when I was reading comic books. I wasn't going through a breakup or a divorce or even I mean, I think I was dealing with somebody at the time, but if you ask me, did I care when they went? I mean, most of the girls I dealt with didn't understand comic books or anime or geek stuff, so they kind of just stayed out of my way with it. I mean, I kind of had it as if they came in and they're like, all I would hear is, he's watching this anime shit again. And like they go about their business. And I just look at them with this look on their face, like, you want to walk home tonight, huh? like I was like, don't, I don't listen when you watching Real Housewives and all that made up bullshit. I don't bother you. I just walk in, get what I got to get and go in my room. Don't get on my piece. You know what I'm saying? So no, my start with comic books and everything else was back in high school. I used to have friends, and we used to sit at the train station on the way. I mean, if you've never lived in Rockaway, obviously, I don't think, Nadya, have you ever been out to Rockaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you know about Broad Channel if you're going to the beach. We used to take the train to Broad Channel and then catch the train back in Rockaway. And sometimes the train would take forever because they started that stupid shuttle. And the shuttle would be sitting there for like 20, 30 minutes. So to kill time, we used to sit at the train station and talk about, and this is way before like the only thing comic book related movies out at the time was Tim Burton's Batman. Superman obviously was from the 70s. That was the only thing that was ever out. The terrible Punisher movie and the terrible Fantastic Four movie. Those were the only
terrible Punisher movie, because Thomas Jane is amazing.
No. This is before Thomas Jane. This is Dolph Lundgren.
Oh yeah.
When he had the skull shaved into his beard and he didn't even wear the t-shirt. All right, so
oh wow,
I don't think I saw that version.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Glad I didn't.
And we were especially that Fantastic Four movie. And
was that the one when the thing was like, "Look at me"?
Yeah, that trash. And
that is a classic.
We would all get together at the train station and we would talk about the comics we were reading. And we said, well, you know what would be great if they finally did an X-Men movie and they did this. So we started naming off who we think should be in it. Ironically, the only person that we actually got right was Patrick Stewart as Professor X, because at the time he was on Star Trek. And we were like, oh, he would make a perfect Professor X. And we said, hey, you know who would make a great Storm? Angela Bassett. And we talked about like
missed opportunity.
Yeah, I forgot who we picked as Wolverine, but it was nobody big at the time. So that's how it started. And for years I was into it. I mean, I went to school for graphic design and business, and I kind of fell off comic books for a while. I guess you could say I kind of grew up a little bit. So I was dating a lot. I didn't have any breakups that forced me to my villain story, but all I did was I just read it, and then actually I can't say that. Actually, I went through a slight breakup and I started working at a place, and coming home, I was like, that long train ride from Manhattan to Far Rockaway, I needed something to do because I got tired of listening to the same songs I would on the way home. So I stopped at a comic book store, and that's when I found, actually, no, I was at work and I was skimming on the internet to see what are new comic books out. And I ran into a free copy of The Walking Dead, the first thing. And I started reading the first issue of The Walking Dead. And I was like, yo, this is where comic books have gone. This is great. So I immediately after work ran to a comic book store close to me. And it wasn't even Midtown Comics. It was some little comic book store on like Fifth Avenue.
Probably Hanley's. It used to be Hanley's.
It probably was. And I walked in and I said, hey, do you guys have any of the beginning issues of The Walking Dead? And he said, no, we have like the companion novels where it has like 5 or 6 issues in there. So he takes me over, and I was like, before I start reading it to where it is now, you need to catch up. I think I had gotten paid, and I think I spent like $70 picking up a bunch of companion novels and got on the train, and that's all I read for a month. And after that, I think Comic Con came up, and this is pre Comic Con. Before, this is where New York Comic Con wasn't big enough where you had to like wait online. You
Yep.
could actually go the day of Comic
get
Con,
passes.
any day you wanted,
I
and
used to
get
get
a
my
pass.
passes at Hanley's.
Yeah.
Because this thing behind me was the big thing, Anime Fest.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was the huge New York event back
Yeah,
then.
and
And
actually,
Lou Ferrigno.
Hmm?
Lou
Yeah.
Ferrigno was the only guest.
yeah, and actually, I went. There was a place called Image Anime on 38th Street. I think I took Justin there a few
Yes.
times.
Yes.
And the guy there used to have tickets. I think you could get tickets anywhere.
Hmm.
You could really go get it. And then I used to buy tickets from him.
Yeah.
And one day I went to Comic. I actually got a job working in graphic design at an advertising company that was on like 38th Street 9th. And I went to Comic Con, and on the train ride home, I ran into Justin, and I'm telling Justin, like, damn, bro, I ain't seen you in years since me and your cousin used to babysit you. What the hell? Like, I mean, like, what's going on? And he told me about what he was doing and what he was into. And we just had like a long train ride conversation. And he was like, hey, you want to do some stuff on the site? And I was like, why not? I need to keep my mind occupied. And I think the first article I did was on the best zombie comic books out there. And it started from there. I met Ashley, Keenan, and I think a lot of other people there. And I was
Miles, Jamila.
yeah, Jamila. What do you call it? That's a wild story with that anime thing.
Yeah.
And it's it was fun from there because for the first time, I think it was the first year I was there with Otakus and Geeks that the next year after that, they decided that I think who has it now? The company that's running Comic Con now.
Repop.
Repop. Yeah,
It was the
Repop
first year
decided to
Repop-
merge.
Yeah, it was the first year they purchased it, and Justin said you can no longer go downstairs and apply for press passes right there on the spot. They actually wanted you to fax in
Yeah.
article
Information.
yeah, and information and everything. And
Yep.
Justin was like, we don't have a fax. And what's crazy is my boy Raul comes over and he's like, yo, I got a fax machine. Y'all could borrow that and just send it in. Just everybody send it. So we did the fax. Jeff helped us out with getting emails with Gmail.
Yeah.
So we all had a company email.
Mhm.
And that what was funny is that was the beginning
Of
of
everything.
different people coming in. I mean, some people still around, like Jeff will pop in every once in a while to help. Anybody who comes in that we all know that, they'll do their little part, but that was kind of like the beginning for me with ONG. And it kept going from there. I mean, there was a point where Justin was getting emails for, hey, you want to take this event? I remember one of the first celebrity events we went to was with Boris Kojo and everything. He did an article for, what was it? It was a Zane book.
It was it Addiction or something like that?
It was one of those, and the screenwriter, I think it was a woman who wrote it.
Yeah.
And wrote the screenplay. And after Justin did the article, they said, hey, why don't you come down to a party we're having? And I remember that day, Justin was like, you want to go? And I was like, yeah, but it's work. Yo, as long as we're there by 8:00. So I had to hop on the train, run home, hop in the shower, get dressed, get back on the train, head to the city. And then when we got in there, we were there way too early. Like, we were there before everybody. And then when we went in, everybody started coming in. And what's crazy is we sit down at a table and like Boris Kojo,
the cast sat with us.
Yeah,
And,
Tyson Beckford, his manager, all of them sat at the table with us. I was like, what the
and everybody was looking at us.
Yeah,
I like to call them social climate models. I remember they were like giving us like the green-eyed hate because everybody was sitting next to us and people like, who the fuck are these two? And why are they sitting with them instead of, mingling? And that they just sat next to us. We just had like normal conversation because I guess it was also too because we weren't like, oh my god, it's Boris, oh my god, it's William Levy. We were just like, hey, what's up? It was just like chill. We treat them like normal.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers who Tyson Beckford was, the
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
model. Like he had girls like climbing on him, walking through the
Mhm.
entire thing, and then they all sat down. They was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I just kept looking at my phone because I'm like, "Yo, I'm a guy. Like I don't
Yeah.
like my like." If there was like a famous female artist there, I'd have probably been like, "Oh my god, yo, this chick is like." If Halle Berry came and sat down, I'd be like, "Oh shit, it's Halle Berry, damn!" Like, yo, I gotta play
You
it
ain't tripping
cool.
over no Boris Kojo.
Yeah, like Boris Colton, he sat down. He was like, "Hey," I mean, his conversation was so laid back. He was just like, "Yo, bro." He was like, "Yo, I hate this diet that I'm on." He was like, "I can only eat." I'm starving right now, and it's past the time for me. I should have eaten already. So he said, "They got to hurry up with the hors d'oeuvres." And I was like, "I hear you, bro." I was like, "Homegirl being real stingy," and he was cool about it.
Yeah.
And like everybody
Really
else
good.
sat down, and they were just talking to us like, "Hey, blah blah blah." And then his manager's like, "Well, what do you guys do?" And we just explaining where we're from, and everybody was just laid back. Like
It was a chill day.
they were like, "How the hell did you get in here?" Like they were just looking at us like, "Yo, you guys talk about comic books," and it was like we talk about TV shows and actors and actresses. And
Mm-hmm.
like,
I'm-
oh,
Wait,
I mean,
so how did you become the true comic book fan as opposed to
oh,
all other comic book fans?
because all
Jesus Christ.
here's the thing: the true comic book fan thing came because everybody had a name on there, and I was just like,
Mhm.
it was like nobody's doing comic books, and I was just like, all right, I was like, I guess I'll be the true comic book fan on here. I'll just talk about comic books, and that's how it just stuck. And
When we not to cut you off, when we originally started, everyone was like assigned a section because it would be more easier for everybody to cover. Like Sean had comics, Keenan did video games, Ashley did anime. That's why Ashley's alias still says that she uses Anime Angel, and I was the movie film guy. And Miles was Lenny was literature. Lenny reviewed books. Miles helped me with Miles helped Keenan with video games, and Jamila would pop in from time to time. But Jamila was doing Girl Gone Geek at the time. So everybody was literally just covering, and then Jeff came in and he did video games as well. Once Keenan went to focus more on cyber gaming,
Yeah,
and
he did
started
Tekken.
developing on his game. So it was just like complete. Like even Dez helped out from time to time. So like people that you see pop up on the channel, they've been there since like the beginning of ONG. Yeah, so that's how it all came about.
Yeah,
with
and
that.
then as time went on, like you said, everybody started popping in. I met Nadia at a Comic Con.
Tribeca, right?
No, it was a
Tribeca?
Comic Con meetup. You were with a friend there, and I remember I went there with my friend Christian, and we were bitching about how we hadn't gotten Comic Con press passes in a while, and they kept giving influencers.
Oh yes, I think it was it Toy Fair?
No. It was at some bar, like, and they had a meetup, and it was just like a whole bunch of people were there, and I met
Rebecca
you.
was after that then.
Yeah, and we met you and another one of your friends, and he explained to me exactly what was going on with the press pass thing. He was like, like, look, he said some people know people. He said, so they get passes, put on, and we had a good conversation. And I was just like, yo, listen, let me know whenever you're doing stuff. And that's how we met Nadia. And I'd run into her at like every other event. I'm like, damn, this girl gets around everywhere. She was at Toy Fair. I was like, yo, she must.
There she is again.
Yeah, I was like, yo, she must have like props with everybody because it was Toy Fair, Tribeca, another con, and then like everybody knew her. So I was just like, yo, she's cool as hell. And I remember telling Justin, like, yo, she's cool as hell. Like, yo, I wish she would come work with us because she seems to know a lot about because at the time I read DC comics. I only had a few that I like Green Lantern and everything else. But Nadia read most of DC, like back and forth. And I was just like, you need somebody on here for that. And Jerrell, I've always known since we were little. I was actually friends with his older brother. Since we were like, damn, we were in junior high school. We went to St.
Mary's.
St. Mary's together. And then we just went to different high schools. I was there. Like, we had two different friend groups. Like, I was friends with his brother. So we had our group. Yeah. And then Jerrell had his group. And amazingly, we all came together because we played basketball. We talk
together.
shit about it. We would get on there like, yo, I'll bust your ass. You better. And that's how.
But the funny thing about that, whenever our groups got together, when the game was over, you and I always talked about superhero shit.
Yeah. So
like we would always talk about like the cartoons, the anime. And Sean, from a comic book standpoint, Sean's the one who actually schooled me to a lot of not only comic book stories, but actual like the legitimate stories that the movies and TV shows like messed up. Because I would be like, hey, this movie was cool. Then here comes Sean, man, they changed this shit. That was
the book was better.
A conversation is something that somebody changed. So I always go to Sean for like the real stuff.
Yeah, and then one day Jerrell, this is before I remember when he was dating his ex-wife, and then one day they were like, yeah, Jerrell is married. And I'm like, what? Jerrell got married? I was like, and then in between that, he was telling me, him and his wife were in the film.
Yeah.
And he was filming, he was doing everything. So I said, let me take a look at everything. Because I remember you were helping your brother put together these little films, these little indie films together on the beach, doing practical. Now, this is why I give Jerrell. He was doing practical effects before like a lot of these programs were coming out, just to make film look great. Having people disappear and having them like teleport from one place to the next. And I was like, yo, damn, you're really talented with it. And then, of course, time went by, and then, he was going through his divorce. Like he said, he was becoming the villain he wanted to be.
I don't consider myself the bad guy, though. The crazy thing though, the divorce thing happened literally a week before we were supposed to start filming the Shadow Warriors project.
Yes.
And I almost quit the project because of that. And I had a whole cast of people that were emailing me like, hey, when are we going to shoot? When are we going to shoot? But what made me go through with it, aside from not having anything else to do, ironically, when we were going through like the audition, because you helped me with the audition process.
Yep.
When we were going through the audition process and I was struggling trying to find actors at some point, ironically, and I'll give her props for this, but my ex-wife actually told me at the time, she said, you need to find a way to make this work, because if your film doesn't happen, nobody's going to say like, oh, Jerrell's film didn't happen because of XYZ. All they're going to say is he didn't do it. And I thought about that the whole time, which is what made me get off my ass and be like, you know what, I have to shoot this film, because if I don't shoot it, then then the whole thing was for nothing. So Sean came on board, my brother came on board. I got some fight choreographers, and then, like the rest was history. But then that's when Sean introduced me to Justin, because I was originally supposed to come on ONG to moderate Justin versus Sean.
Yes.
And then Justin versus Sean turned into a 3-way argument. I don't even remember what we were arguing about. It was like y'all were talking about something, and then I had like a third opinion that had nothing to do with what y'all were saying, and then we just got into this whole big thing.
It's funny how everything
the Justin
morphed.
versus Sean thing went out the window.
Yeah, and then Nadya came in, and Nadya added her 2 cents to everything. We were like, yo, listen, why
I was just like, just making a fucking podcast.
But I like that though, because I didn't want to be in a situation where everybody had the same opinion.
Yeah.
That would like, I don't want to just agree with what you're saying. It's like the fact that we don't always agree. It's like, that's what makes it fun. Like somebody will say something, then 3 people will give them the side eye.
I have a question, because this is something me and Ash discussed on part 1. Do you guys look back at your early beginnings, your early videos and stuff? Do you cringe at times? Because I cringe at my old videos, my old reviews, my old interviews. Ashley says she cringes a bit. I look at my old shit, I go, I wish I could remake that shit now.
I cringe a lot because I don't like to hear the sound of my voice, even though I'm an actor and singer. I just don't like hearing myself, especially singing. So I actually did go back after we did that episode, and I went back and I listened to the interview, and I was like, dang, I did sound like a child. Gosh darn it. I hate it. Why?
I cringe at some of my reviews. I literally cringe now. I'm like, I might go back and just remake some shit.
I looked at some of my earlier stuff, and like me talking about it was fine. It was just the visual that sucked. Yeah. Like the visual was so bad. Like I currently have 303 subscribers. I would like to ask all of them, why the hell did you stick around?
Something new. People like stuff like that.
Yeah, the visual was not appealing back then. My cats kept jumping in the frame and everything. My couch wasn't ragged.
For me, I didn't like my voice on solo. Like on a podcast, I'm fine talking with everybody, but
Yeah.
if I have to do something like a review, I can't tell you how many times I did. It took me an hour and a half because I did like 30 takes. Like I'd get all the way through something and I'd be like, yeah, blah blah blah, and I'm like, shit, and then I have to slam it off and start all over again, and I don't have the same like energy I had from the first time. So the first
that's
solo
hard. That's
thing,
hard to keep up.
Yeah, the first solo thing Justin asked me to do a review for, it's what it was. But after that, like it starts to get fine. Now I'm like, I keep it to 2 minutes and that's it. And then I add filler stuff in there.
What about you, Nadia? You look back at your stuff and go,
Oh
fuck.
God. Like one of my first unboxings, I was like, oh my God, this is unwatchable. But like, it's kind of like, it's still a challenge for me in a way because I'm more comfortable with writing. Like writing is like where I feel most comfortable, especially when it comes to my reviews. I'm very like analytical and like in depth. And then like video, I'm too in my head and I get nervous. But over the years, I've been trying to like work on that, and because video is like the way of the world now.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to make video my focus. So like starting with things like unboxings, like I had to do one earlier today. Like I think that was kind of how I started getting a little out of my shell and just doing more videos and like interviews. I always felt more comfortable because it's easier to bounce off somebody.
Yeah.
But when it's just like you yourself, I'm always like I get nervous. And like one thing I've noticed, like people pointed out, they're like, just be yourself, because like say like when I'm talking to you guys, I'm like, oh, that shit was whack. Like I'll be like super like enthusiastic. But when I'm doing my review, I'll be like, oh, in this scene, like I get too in my head. So I gotta like
be very proper.
Try to like just be myself and be comfortable and not be scared of the camera.
I mean, for me, just to piggyback off what you were saying, I remember, I can't remember what it was. Like, this I was gonna say. For those who've been watching us for a while, when it comes to our reviews here at ONG, because I remember somebody asked me this, is like, why don't you write your reviews for video? And the reason for that is I got no motherfucking time. I have no time to write a full script and just also get it out on time of say like an embargo. So most of the reviews I literally try to do a script off the top of the dome. And if I feel like I'm saying too much or like too much, I scrap it and re-record everything. And like Sean was saying, it takes multiple fucking takes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like so bad. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Like if you look back, that's why I said I cringe at some of my old videos because I'm like, it's like I actually put this shit out now while watching this. And it's weird because you see comments like good reviews, like no, it's not. Like where?
I think people like the authentic, just reviews of people. Like if it feels scripted, because if you watch a lot of reviewers, you could tell like they're in a studio somewhere or they have somebody like feeding them everything and they're reading from like a teleprompter and it looks like that. But when you have somebody just giving their honest opinion and you can tell they're trying to think about the next words. And then I always have a problem where I don't want to get the information wrong. And I'm like, shit, I can't stop it. It's just to check to see if I'm right. And if I'm wrong, then I'm like, gotta re-record this again because I said this wrong. And that's about it. I think people like that.
Yeah, I stopped doing re-recordings. I just I watch the episode. Once the episode ends, the camera's already set up. Like everything's already set up. Once the episode ends, I sit in the chair, press record, everything's fresh in my mind. If I sneeze during the review, if I use too many if my mama called me, if I gotta use the bathroom, I record the entire thing. And then in editing, then I just cut all that stuff out. Because like Sean said, like if I have to start all over from the beginning, like I'm never gonna get done. So we keeping all the mistakes.
my video game reviews, I constantly start over. Like my anime stuff, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm like, anime I have to do over because mispronunciation of Japanese words, I get so much heat from it in my reviews, like in the comic section. Holy God, like these people come out in full fucking force. Like I had to redo my Power Rangers review, the recent one, because I one person, if you watch my recent one, I said Trinity, I think once instead of Trini.
Yeah.
Someone caught me immediately. It's like,
Oh
it's
my
Trini. I was like, my bad. Like, damn. Like,
you know what I meant.
Now you can't play with some of these fans. You say the name wrong, they'll be like, sir, do you read the comic? Do you read? Do you read? That's not it, sir. I'm like, all right, relax, damn.
Anytime I mess up something Marvel related, my brother is the first one to comment. He was like, first of all, his backstory. So I'm like, look, damn it. I'm like, you want to come on and do the review with me?
Let's talk about that because me and Ashley touched on that comic section. I remember when we first started, it was me when it was this was before Sean came. It was just me, Keenan, Ashley, and Miles. And I think at this time, me and Keenan, we were on the Game Specs forum and we were just trolling the Halo community or something like that. And I remember Keenan was getting death threats. Like they emailed us death threats because we wasn't a fan of this particular Halo. And I remember I was like, Keenan, is it this serious for these people that people are literally sending us death threats through YouTube? Like, I hope you die. And Keenan is so wild. This is how G Keenan could be. Keenan crazy ass. I remember one time he sent his fucking address to somebody. He was like, yo, pull up. Here's my address. The dude replies back, dude, I'm just trolling. I'm just joking, man. I don't want no problems. I'm like, yeah.
That sounds about right.
Keenan did not play no shit with these people. He's like, yo, come. I'll be right here. Pull up. Handle this.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. I have to, like at cons, I have to keep myself like remember that I'm in a more of a professional environment because I think it was like either last year or the year before.
I think it was a bathroom situation too that you had.
No, that was a couple of times. That's when I really had to relax. Like, I went to Anime NYC. I think it was last year, and I had Janae's husband and the kids with me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time they've been there. And these kids know everything about certain animes. Like, they're young and they're like, oh, that's blah, 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 blah. And I mean, they're like completely informed about these characters. And there was like, I think it was a small Asian group that was like doing, I guess they were working for the company that was there. And they had on like, it looks like professionally made costumes. So they were like, oh my God, I love that picture and I want to go. So I go over there to take my camera just to get a picture because I know I want to send it to them because they were so into it. And I don't know whether it's their photographer or friend or handler. I took a couple of pictures. I obviously had my press badge out. I'm just sitting there and they're excited watching it. And then I'm taking a picture. This girl did a great pose and I'm getting like more than one shot of it. And he stepped in front of the camera. And I was like, okay, maybe he did it by accident. So I moved around and he stepped back in front of me. And I remember the thing on my mind was like, I looked up and I had to catch myself. I'm like, yo, bro, look, just trying to get a peaceful shot. I was like, I'm pressed. And he just looked at me like he shrugged his shoulder. I was like, yo, don't get smacked. And I realized that after I said it, I was like, don't get smacked. And then he had this look on his face like, and I was like, you know what, my bad. Yo, continue it. And I just walked off because that part of me came out like, I'm not disrespecting you. Why would you? I'm like, I'm doing this for the kid. I could care less about making any money off this cosplay. I'm just doing it for the kids here. They're excited. And I think a lot of these cosplayers forget kids are excited about seeing that. People are excited about seeing you. They're excited about coming out of their houses, walking out and being accepted in a space where the rest of the world doesn't accept them in, and they're excited about it. So acting like a snooty ass about your cosplay, you're not a fan. You're just there to make money and exploit it like everybody else, because all of us here on this panel knows when anime comic books weren't popular, we walked into Comic-Con where it was just the geeks, the nerds, and the fans. And damn near all got to know each other by a first name basis because we were there to enjoy each other's company, talking about the thing we love. Now it's just become a pop culture phenomenon. Now everybody wants to just cash in on it.
That's true. Nadya, do you have any moments where the Brooklyn was about to come out at these cons?
I it's like sometimes I realize like I gotta like, I don't know, like not feed into the bullshit. Like I remember I had one situation. This was actually, I feel like it's more social media, especially as a female. I had one time where this guy was talking shit on, I forgot what it was, like a mutual friend posted a photo of me in my Breaking Bad cosplay. And this guy was like, "Oh, that cat behind her is more interesting." And I was like, I shut him up though, because like this is how I like to do it. Like I basically commented with a picture of me with Bryan Cranston that Seth Green retweeted. And I was like, I don't give a shit if you didn't like it. Seth Green and Bryan Cranston did. So it's like sometimes I'll find like a smart ass way to like clap back, because I was like, "Oh, talk your shit. Like the reason I wore this was for Brian, not for you." And then I had another time where I forgot, some guy was like trying to correct me on something with Marvel, and I was like, "Nah, you're wrong, dude." And like it's that whole thing where they were like, I forgot what he said, but I pulled it like back on him, and I was like, "Why don't you read a comic?" So I just like twisted it and like threw the same words back at him, because I was like, "You don't know what you're talking about, bro." And I was like, "I actually worked at Marvel, so I know what I'm saying."
I will say one thing: women get a lot of crap from men.
Yeah.
You know, before I wouldn't even say it, because that's just not how the way I operate. But women do get a lot of crap from men about their knowledge of comic books, and I'll sit down and watch, or anime or anything. It's like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, "Yo, fellas, like take a step back," because looking at a girl saying, "Oh, you're just pretty and be here, just sit here and smile and be quiet." No, they're like, they watch and read comic books exactly the same way we all do. You're not a fan. There's no gender in it. You're a fan. And sometimes you can be wrong. Like, don't think, "Oh, I'm a dude. I've been reading this forever." Yeah, so what? Like, there are people who read it just as and watch the films just as intently as you do, and have a different perspective of it. So, you know, like, nobody's wrong. I mean, the only time I'll tell somebody they're wrong is if like they're factually dead wrong about something. Like, yo, that didn't happen. Like, yo, but other than that, if you have a different take on it, I just try to respect your opinion as having a different take, because I don't think there's anybody wrong. Like, I just think, you know, you see, all of us have gone to watch we've watched the same series, we've watched the same movies, and we've all had different takes on how we felt about the same exact. I bet you we could all sit in the same room and watch it, and we'll all still have the same different take on the story and how we felt about it and whatever. I mean, damn, I sat there with Nadya at what the hell did we watch the recently, before, not Guardians, but before that. And
Echo,
no. We're in the
Apple
movie theater.
TV,
We were there with Michael and everybody else. The hell did we go see?
not Shazam. Was it
Yes, Shazam.
Yeah.
And we went to watch Shazam, and I was like, "Oh, this is okay." Nadia was like, "Oh, I'm gonna tear this shit apart." Like, she was like, "No. I don't know what they were thinking we did." I was like, "Damn, Nadia." I mean, I thought it was like, no. And the thing was, I was watching it just as like I watch it and I think about it in my head. She was writing, and like she was taking notes, like, "No, you went off on this. Now we're gonna go." I was like, "Girl, don't play when it comes to her DC movies."
Do we even talk about that as a group?
Oh, the Shazam. Yeah, I think we
We
did.
did for sure.
We missed a lot of stuff. We missed Blue Beetle. We missed the Marvels. Like, I don't remember doing a Shazam review.
Yeah, we didn't really touch too much on
we touched
a lot
on
of
a little
shit.
bit. Because I think one of the main things we said was we thought Shazam was going to be passed on to the other kid, the way they made the movie, the way they put the movie up, and it didn't happen that way.
Actually, hold on. I wanted to pass this to Ashley before. Sorry, Jerrell. Your con stories. I'm pretty sure. Well, there was one moment. I mean, we tell this one all the time, but I'll tell it one more time. Where this kid, it was me, Sean, and Keenan. Yes, the Kingdom Hearts kid. Ashley wore this Kingdom Hearts shirt, right? And this guy.
Should I tell my perspective first?
Yeah, go ahead, and then I'll tell what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
So this is literally our first con as ONG. So I was 13, so I started in high school. So the only reason that I was able to go each and every year was because my parents were like, if you get good grades, you'll be able to skip school. That was the only day I missed school. I would have had like 100% attendance, but I was like, nope, I'm going to New York with my cousin. It's fine. It's great. And then I just have to, you know, make up my work, you know, the next day or whenever I came back. So this was my first time at a convention. I'm excited. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, so I had on my Kingdom Hearts shirt. I didn't have a costume on or anything. I didn't cosplay. That's where I met Sean and Keenan and Jamila and Miles. So at a certain point, we all stopped, and I noticed that like the guys were talking, and so like I'm 13, so like I forgot what they were talking about or anything like that. So I'm just in the circle, mind you. Okay. Unfortunately, in how my genes work, people thought that I was in college when I was 13. And now I'm getting the reverse. People think that I'm in high school when I'm 28. So, and I work at a school. I work in high school. So if I don't have my ID, I get carded at work. Just happened the other day.
It's the Williams gene. It's what it is.
Just the genes. So we're there and everything. And then all of a sudden, 3 guys came up to me and started talking to me. Again, I'm 13, never dated, don't know how to flirt, don't know the signs or signals or anything like that. So I'm just being friendly with them. The next thing I knew, I saw Justin's head turn around. I saw Sean's head. I saw Sean's head turn around. I don't think I remember Keenan's or Miles' faces, but the only thing I could see was the fire coming from Justin's eyes. As he was ushering me away, it was like, yeah, thanks, bye. And as he ushered me out,
dude just ran up on her. It's like, oh, 3. You like Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, like this. And then Ashley's like, okay. This dude just grabs her and hugs, and then you just see Spades literally just get born that day and just looked at this dude with the most demonic look. Like, if you do not get your fucking hands off, you're about to get stomped. Yep. And he just went like this, and that's when I just grabbed. I was like, "Let's go!" And I gave Ashley the talk. Like, you gotta be more careful. She's like, I didn't know. I was like,
I didn't even do anything.
I'm 13. Like, this is my first. I'm an introvert. I barely have any friends. What the heck was I supposed to do in this social situation where there's like?
I was like, pack it away, fellas. Pack it away. It's here. I was like, you have nothing. This is not going to be your. I met this girl at Comic-Con story. No, just go ahead, bro.
It's going to be your last con. It was about to be his last con. Yes. That's what Keenan came from behind. I don't know where Keenan was, but Keenan saw everything he came up with. I was like, the fuck were you? And then it was just so because the kid was so scared once I came up. He's just like, I was like, bro, like, first of all,
fire in his eyes, so it was like,
yeah, but like, first of all, you don't just randomly, like, this is back when cons did that random hug shit, and spin the hug instead of spin the hug, spin the bottle, which we'll get to that because that's my favorite story with Sean. I still have the video of that.
They were brave of doing it because they were in a semicircle, and I was like in the middle.
Yeah,
so, like,
try to do some shield shit, Jerrell.
Strategically, like, they came up where there was no one else that could flank me necessarily. So and also I had cat ears at the time too. Oh god.
Yeah. Wow. So he probably got his little furry, like little
firestorm.
Furry little fetish going on there. So someone in cat ears just like, oh my god, and she's wearing a Kingdom Hearts shirt.
Yeah.
And he tried to be mad cool with it. He tried to lure her in like, oh, hey, you like the same thing.
Well, he had his wingman with
him. And I'm like,
he had his wingman with him too, because I think there were like 2 more of them in that group.
It was 2 more of these dudes. I'm like,
Nadya has this look like, yeah, I've been there. Like, I've been there. Like,
so there was.
Now he's like, yeah, that shit happened. I mean, this will actually bring you up to the next one. What's the weirdest shit y'all seen at the con? For me, it's spin the bottle hug version where I still had the video.
Yeah.
I might repost it one day on Instagram because it's so old. When we went to Anime Boston, and we were literally about to leave. I mean, like, we were still waiting for Nat and me and Sean stopped by this crowd. I was like, oh shit, they doing spin the bottle. All right, let's see who. All right, who's gonna kiss who? They get up and they fucking hug, and all you see is this disappointed and
That was
also
an anime
almost rage.
convention, right?
Yeah,
It was like
Yeah,
anime
I feel like I've
Boston.
seen that.
Yeah, all you just see is Sean's face. We don't have we don't have Sean's face on camera, but his reaction and just I'll never forget it. He's just like, it was like an out of body experience. He was just like, "What the fuck is this? We got to go." He was like, "Okay, I'm done."
To clarify, so nobody thinks this is some weird fetish that I want to watch people spin the bottle and kiss each other. Like the thing was, like, I came from a time, and I'm pretty sure damn, I'm saying that, but I came from a point where anybody who knows, when you play spin the bottle, we all knew what that entailed. Everybody spun the bottle and landed on whatever person spun it, they would kiss the person that landed on. Opposite sex. So I would see people spinning the bottle. I'm like, damn, they get down like that at the convention? Like people randomly swapping spit at the convention? I was like, this is interesting to see because it's a bunch. Yeah. Because from my knowledge, the nerd culture is very like, everybody's like, hey, like I'm nervous and I don't do that. So I saw them spin the bottle and then they get up and they run over to the person and hug them tight. And I was like, the fuck is this? I was like, what the non?
Yeah, what kind of fairy?
I'm looking around like,
shit is this?
I was like, Care Bears?
Did I hit the PG version of like what? This doesn't happen. I'm like, yo, put your camera out because nobody's gonna believe this happens. And then after about 4 or 5 more spins, like it landed on 2 girls, and I'm just sitting up there like, this is gonna be interesting. And I'm like, they got up and they hugged each other and they were like, oh my God, I love you. And then they sat back down. And I was like, yo, Justin, can we leave, man? Because this is weird.
You so disturbed.
I was like, yo, I said, something's not right here. And I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm a pervert because I didn't get to see what I wanted to see. But like, I'm just like, I've never experienced this. And
it's like a different atmosphere.
Yeah, I was like, my mind is off. So can we go?
We literally left after that because we were all disturbed. Like the ride home too.
I got in the car and I was staring at the road for like 5 minutes. Like, did I just see what I just saw? Like, people just spun a bottle and hugged each other. Like, but that's not even the worst story. We went to was it Otacon or was it Adam? It had to be one where we spent the night. So it had to be Otacon.
Yeah.
And there was a panel like after midnight.
Oh yes, Otakon.
It was a hentai panel. So they were like, "Hey, are you gonna be there for the hentai panel?" And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not gonna sit in a room with a bunch of people with naked anime characters running around doing pornographic stuff. Like, I don't feel comfortable. Like, how am I gonna look? I'm gonna look over at Justin and be like, "Hey, you see that there, bro?" Like what?
Like it ain't that kind of party.
Yeah, I'm like, and I'm thinking, and then all sorts of things started rolling through my mind. Like,
bless you.
Thank you.
I was like, who would sit in a crowded panel with other people,
dark room too,
in a dark room, basically watching an animation porno?
You'd be surprised.
And how do you look out? Like the thing that would have, and I know this is probably got to be bleeped out. The thing that would have blown my mind
is uncut. People, go ahead.
I would have saw something I shouldn't see in the middle of that. Like somebody's in front of me doing something they shouldn't be doing. I'm getting up and I'm leaving because I was like, if I get hit with foreign fluid, I'm
oh my God,
I'm fighting. I'm fighting somebody. And I was like, and I told Justin, was like, yeah, you think we should go cover? I'm like, hell no, bro. I was like, that's a fight.
I refuse to go just because of that.
And they're like, yo, they're gonna have like great classic anime. I was like, anybody that's sitting in that room watching classic porn, I was like, nah, bro, that's just not something I'm into. I was like, at least not a group. I was like, and then it dawned back on my mind, this is going to be really make people think and know how old I am. I'm like, didn't Pee Wee Herman get busted for something like this?
Yes.
Like back in the day, like didn't his career end for something like this? I'm like, yo, I'm not getting caught up in this. I'm like, yo.
Speaking of Pee Wee Herman, shout out to him for not only playing the Penguin's dad in the Michael Keaton Batman movie, but he also played the Penguin's dad on Gotham.
Yeah, that's why they did it.
Really?
Look at your face. Yeah, you see, you need to watch Gotham.
Yo,
what was it? I think it was like season 3.
Yeah,
Season
even
three,
better than that.
When the penguin met his dad for the first time, I was like, "Holy shit, it's fucking Pee-wee!"
Yeah.
Like, how you get cast in the
better
same
than
role
that,
twice?
yeah, even better for that. Shout out to him for bringing his career back,
Yeah,
because he went from like the top rated kids show, like nobody could touch it. Like forget Blue's Clues and Barney, like everybody watched Pee Wee's Playhouse, to losing everything to making a comeback in Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the movie, not the TV series, the movie, and bringing his career back and being completely hilarious in that, and then getting casted in adult roles. Like I don't know I don't know if y'all remember Pee Wee's Big Adventure and Big Top Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Like those were the movies.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
that's the one with his bike, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then what was it, Large Marge or some shit?
Large Marge.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to him for bringing his career back, because Paul Rubin, I thought was going to be like a forgotten name in like pop culture, and he really resurrected his career. Now he's in almost like you'd never recognize him, but he's in a lot of stuff.
Real quick, because I never told my "We're Coming at You" story.
Yeah.
The only time people ever came at me on social media, because usually on my channel people like feel sorry for me, so it's like when I'm losing in video games, they try to like encourage me on like where to go and how to solve puzzles. But during Young Justice in season 3, because remember in the beginning of Young Justice when Aqualad had a thing for Tula, like Aqua Girl.
Yeah.
And then he spent the entire season 2 pining over the fact that they killed the woman that he loved.
Yeah.
And then randomly in season 3 he was dating dudes.
Yep.
All I said was, you know, it just seems like in season 3 the writers just felt that they needed an LGBT character, and Aqualad just, you know, fit the bill by default.
Oh God, you touched the hornet's nest.
Yeah, and like everybody on the planet came, they came at me on Twitter, they came at me on YouTube, and my whole point was because they were just like, oh, you're against, you know, like same sex. I was like, I told them, I said, this is like, y'all gotta think logically, this has shit to do with same sex. The man was pining over women for 2 seasons straight, and there was no implication at all that he
I'm gay now.
Bisexual.
You know what I'm saying? Like if they would have said he was bisexual in season 1, fine, but it just seems like he was, they had a whole, the whole second season was about him being in love with a woman, and now he's with dudes. But then
he just woke up and said, I'm gay now.
Yeah, that never went away. But the second time was in do you guys ever watch Warrior Nun?
Yeah, I did watch
Warrior
the whole
Nun.
season.
What?
Warrior Nun.
Warrior Nun. Nope.
Yeah. All right. So
Warrior.
You saw it, right? So Sean, you saw it.
Yeah.
So the main character in season 1, did she or did she not have a sexual relationship with a guy?
Yes. Yes.
So in season 2, there was one nun specifically who was a lesbian, and she became a nun because her family kicked her out of the house when they found out she was gay. She had a crush on the main character, and she kissed the main character in the season finale. And everybody was just like, oh, they're finally together, they're in love. And I'm like, who's they? I'm like, the other girl just seemed like she got taken by surprise. I'm like, I get that the nun has a thing for her, but it doesn't seem like the other girl is reciprocating. Everybody got mad at me for that. Now all of a sudden, like, I'm against, I don't want their love to thrive. And I'm like, I don't have a problem with their love. It just seems kind of one-sided.
Jerrell, the LGBTQ representation.
I think, and this is not my long with a short rant, I think a lot of people take things way too far. It's okay to question something, especially when a plot builds up to one thing and then they completely switch it. It's okay to ask a question like that. It's not like somebody said you didn't take the conservative approach like with Bud Light. Like, oh my God, there's transgendered on the Bud Light thing. Now I'm gonna shoot up the beer cans I already bought and paid for. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody, like you didn't take that approach. You just said what happened to the original story. And I
like in season 1, she was doing this. She made a change, and there was never a conversation about why that change took place.
Like,
so
I think people should take a step back and just listen to what people say instead of trying to like automatically find an enemy or something. Like, I don't think the entire world hates the LGBTQ community. I think people just, if you question it, like you can't, like nobody's a like an endangered species. You can question something and then just say, "I just have a question about it. I don't hate you. I just have a question about it."
I was questioning the writing, not the
Exactly,
character.
right.
Exactly.
Like it was
I
the
think we
writing.
all
It wasn't even the cat. Like I'm at the point now where whenever there's like a same sex couple on a show, I don't even want to bring it up in the review now.
yeah, I don't
I'm
bring,
like, yeah, we'll
honestly,
just. I'm like, they kissed, and we'll just gloss over that, move on to the next scene.
honestly, I just try to avoid all, like, that's one thing. Like, I think I talked about this I talked about it in the previous episode. We always get asked, why
How do
we
you
don't
feel about this
cover
person?
certain, like, why we didn't, like Ashley was saying, why we don't cover like the Vic Mignogna situation when he was going through that with the voice actors, why we didn't touch on Gina Carano and things like that. One, because that's just a hornet's nest we not trying to attract. And I see a lot of YouTubers, they make like thousands and thousands of videos over and over the same fucking topic, and they get millions of views and shit like that. I don't want to attract that type of crowd. I don't want to attract that type of attention. And like I was saying before, eventually you might be ending up in court for saying the wrong shit about somebody. And that's why I'm very carefully, like, we didn't really touch on the Amber Heard situation with Johnny Depp and things
Because you
like
could
that.
just end up being completely wrong about
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Like Jonathan Majors. We really didn't discuss his.
We don't
Yeah,
know.
I did a whole video
Yeah.
I
on
saw
that
that.
because
Yeah.
it's wild how people are like already like throwing like torches at him, and I was like, oh, I think his court case is today, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm like, nothing has been finalized yet. Like, I
it's Monday.
understand. Huh? It's Monday?
It's Monday. It's the 8th.
Okay, so tomorrow, the 8th. Yeah. So I was like, I knew it was coming up. But I'm like, yeah, people are so quick to like bury him. And I'm like, but where was this like uproar with Jeremy Renner? And I was just like, I don't know. This whole thing.
Shout out to you because you brought up some things I had no idea happened. Like the thing with what's his name to play Glenn on The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't even know that whole situation. I don't know enough to comment on it, but I'm just like, what does he have to do with it?
Yeah, like you brought up some things, and I was like, I had to actually look it up, and I was just like, damn. I was like, yo, this got buried under the rug real quick. Like,
yeah, it was the ones I brought up was Jeremy Renner and I love him, but Anthony Starr.
Yeah,
when he punched a cook in the face.
Yeah, at the bar, I think it was or something like that. I think that's when he was arrested in Ireland or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at something like, even look at what's going on with Teresa Randall now. Like all of a sudden, she was replaced for the new Bad Boys movie, and then all of a sudden a video pops up of her at like Skid Row. She could have just been out there. She's in a walker. She has a t-shirt on. And now everybody's speculating about what she's going on. I was like, did we not learn our lesson from Chadwick Boseman? Like, don't speculate on what people are going through until you find out what's going on, because you don't know what her situation is. Like, stop making it seem like she squandered her money. She's poor now. You don't know. Yeah. She could have been down there feeding people, or she could be scouting for a new role. She could be
researching a role.
Yeah. Don't judge her. And even if something terrible did befall her, like, respect her and pray for her, because like look, any one of us, somebody said this best, any one of us is a paycheck away from being homeless. And you know what I'm saying? You don't want anybody judging you for that. Like, you don't want people like, oh, what could that person have possibly done to da-da-da? Shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it is.
I brought that up too. It's like, I hate how people are so quick to like pray for like a celebrity's downfall. It's like, what is wrong with you? What joy do you get out of that?
Jumping on the bandwagon,
because it feels like they're back down to earth with us. Like, I'm nobody, so they should be nobody too. No, it's life.
It's that mob mentality. And I think for our last topic, we'll end it with some random shit. So if there's some random shit you want to just throw out there and discuss real quick.
Ooh, let me go first. So we've all seen the Marvels trailer, correct?
Yeah.
Now, the mistake that I think that they made was that they showed Nick Fury in the Marvels trailer after putting out a trailer for the Invasion
and making that shit 6 hours.
If Nick Fury looks homeless and begging for change in the Invasion, why does he look clean shaven and smooth in the Marvels trailer?
Oh, maybe it's
we don't know what the timeline is in this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but what it looks like is either A, we now know he survives the invasion,
Oh,
or
that could
B,
be a scroll.
yeah, or that could be a scroll. So
I mean,
was that
Secret
it?
Invasion is just the scrolls. I mean, every hero was damn near
I
replaced.
mean, like the Nick
Comic book
Fury could
wise.
be the scroll that they showed.
Oh, true.
But that's why, like, he shouldn't have been in both trailers. If you're setting up for a thing specifically based on him being involved in an invasion, you don't show him anything else that comes out after that, because it's almost like they spoiled the ending now.
Well, we don't know at what point in timeline, because remember, they're just showing you a preview. This could be a flashback or something.
Yeah.
We don't know what that's why I try to like not read too much in the trailers, because you have people to break down trailers.
Yeah, I don't even watch
Like,
second trailers.
Yeah, like I just let them do it, because you don't know whether this is a flashback or whatever. And I mean, and this hasn't even come out yet. My criticism of Secret Invasion is like, anybody who's read the comic book, we all know that Secret Invasion was like a 2 or 3 year thing that was in Marvel, where they had been secretly replacing the heroes. So, and there were like multiple spin-off comic books. Like, first of all, the Skrulls replace Wolverine. Wolverine ends up becoming a Horseman Apocalypse. And the X-Men didn't know until Wolverine actually killed his doppelganger, and nobody knew who it was. So we don't know what Secret Invasion is going to entail. I'm assuming it's going to be mostly around Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what I'm expecting in Secret Invasion is the characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to pop out, because
Or
that's
be
what
revealed as scrolls.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they reveal a Super Scroll. That's what I'm really hoping, they reveal a Super Scroll somewhere in there.
But do you think it takes place like in current time, or do you think it's something?
I'm hoping Secret Invasion takes a place in current time and explains certain things, but I'm hoping the Marvels take place in a different time. I don't know, like, because the timelines are so damn weird right now.
It's kind of weird to do Kane and the scrolls at the same time. I think it should have been one or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
the
they're
scrolls is
hopefully it's to explain something, explain something that's gonna happen. Because we all know the rumor is like the next phases, the Avengers are done. The next phases is the mutant mutant revolution. Like, they're gonna just start talking about the X-Men. It's gonna be all about X-Men, Fantastic Four, everything else is coming out.
Makes sense.
Because there's only so much you can do with the Avengers, and how many what do you call it, world threatening event levels are gonna come out, where it's like how many major villains? That's kind of stupid, because there are a bunch of major villains, but who else is the big after Kang? Who else could be a major villain?
Doom, Galactus. I mean,
yeah, Galactus, if they want to, but you can do that with the Fantastic Four. That's more of a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about the Marvels, because at least they're showing, at least Monica Rambeau is getting some burn.
I love her.
And at least she's getting some.
She seems like she's going to be the voice of reason in that group.
Yeah,
because Brie Larson in the trailer looks like she does not care.
No,
she looks like she does not. She looks like they forced her to be there because she signed the contract.
She looks like, if y'all don't stop dragging me out of stuff, I'm gonna be.
That's how she looks. I mean, Miss Marvel's obviously the comic relief, and Monica is the voice of reason. I just wish they didn't show a clean shaven and well put together Nick Fury. Because I'm like, bro, you was just homeless in the last trailer.
I respect that. Nadia, quick question: did you finish RE4 yet? Did you finish Resident Evil 4 remake yet?
No. So I've been like only playing, like, I'll probably play a little bit tonight. Because I really try not to game too much right now, because otherwise I won't get anything else done. So I kind of give myself like maybe one day a week.
It's tough now. It's like more challenging now.
I fucking love it.
I love it, but I'm just like, oh my god, they made this more harder. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, but yeah, I'm just like, the only game I actually know is like, come Friday, I'm probably gonna be MIA. Zelda drops, and
I will not hear from him whatsoever.
No one's gonna hear from me for a while.
Bye. This will be the last time I hear from Justin is this podcast. So
yeah, pretty much. Like, once Friday comes, like, well, Jay, what are you doing? Zelda, fuck off, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. So, like, unless it's an emergency,
anyway.
Unless it's something I really got to do for the event, do not bother me.
That'll be me on June 2nd.
Oh, for Street Fighter, right? Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, like, everybody's creating their characters right now.
I'm calling out of work and I'm streaming live.
Oh, I'm calling out of work with Zelda.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any game to call out for. Like Call of Duty has been flailing lately. They're about to release a mid-season thing, and I'm like, yo, this shit is sucking, bro. Like, I need to go back to whatever you did before. Like, we're all bored with we're bored with what's going on. Like, the only thing keeping everybody playing is like shipment 24/7. Like, that's the and parts of Warzone. Like, that's
Hey, Nadia, I have a question. The producers and the directors for Blue Beetle said that the project will be unapologetically Latin. What does that mean?
I mean, from what I saw with the trailer, I'm hype as hell. Cause like I think that if I'm not mistaken, I think the director's Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
I think they have Latino
the whole crew
writers.
is Spanish. Like the writers, the showrunner, everybody's Spanish.
I love that though, because it feels like authentic. Like the way his family's involved, like a Latino household, like everybody know everybody's business. Like, and I don't know. I love the like whole family aspect of it, because like if I were a superhero, like I'm not keeping that shit quiet. Like my whole family's gonna know. So like it just, I don't know. It feels like a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
I hope they keep James Gunn keeps this in there, because I don't see a point of releasing Blue Beetle and then just making a one-off standalone, like incorporate it in the new. He's young, incorporate it in everything.
The only thing why I don't know if they would keep it is because Booster Gold is so much older. So I don't really know if they're gonna do that, because they're friends and they work together.
I mean, he's from the future, so you can kind of say like
age him up.
I mean, in the comic book, he says like I knew Ted Cord, and then he knew young Jaime Reyes because he has the suit. So I hope he does keep it in there and incorporate it, because I'd rather see if you're gonna start young, I'd rather see Blue Beetle. And for some reason, instead of Superman, I'd rather see Kara, because after the Flash trailer, it looks like, yo, let her move on to be, the Superman that we can all get behind.
She looks really good.
Yeah, she looks fire.
Yeah, let her be there for that. Like, and bring in Kid Flash so Ezra Miller can go harass somebody else.
Flashpoint will change him probably.
We'll see. Does anyone else have any more random shit before we get out of here?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm trying to do more like segment kind of stuff, and lately I've been doing more like hot takes. So I'm doing more like Tea with Triple G. So the first one I did was like the King video about everything going on with Jonathan Majors and like calling shit out. I am going to talk more about like woman in action next, because what's her face? I'm tired of them casting Ana de Armas, because she's terrible. She's absolutely terrible. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Ghosted, but I went to a wider screening for it, and I reviewed it, and it was horrible. When I tell you horrible, like, I'm not even trying to be biased. Like, it felt like, I even said, like, it felt like it was written by ChatGPT. It's like a joke. All it relies on is like Marvel cameos, which made absolutely no sense. It was
Marvel cameos.
Horrible. Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but basically the romance was terrible. They had no chemistry. It was like watching chalkboards. There was no romance. The action was horrible. She does not look believable at all, and I'm tired of them casting her. And I am like a John Wick fanatic, so I'm like, I don't know. Watching her in Ghosted, I lost hope for Ballerina. I don't see her in action movies.
She was good in Bond.
The romance was bad, the action was bad, and the comedy was horrible. So that movie was terrible.
She was good in Bond though. In her, she was in a couple of scenes in Bond, but she was good in No Time to Die.
Because she sucked in Gray Man as well.
Oh yeah, that was her.
Yeah, that was her. I'm not sold. I'm not sold. She looks like a Barbie with a gun. Like it doesn't work.
Damn.
Ouch.
God damn.
Doesn't work.
Tell us how you really feel.
I need to see some blood. I need to see some knuckles, like some.
Jerrell's like, God damn. Jerrell's like, I don't got nothing for this now.
Yeah,
like I'm tired of this like supermodel action movie shit. It's bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got a point there, but I mean, for me, I'll just say she was pretty good in No Time to Die. But then again, I think also when it comes to movies, it's also how your director is, who's directing you, what direction they're giving you, and obviously it's your ability to act as well. But I haven't seen Ghosted. I wasn't planning to, so I'm gonna take your word for it because you're always on point. So I'm gonna avoid that film. Plus, I don't have Apple.
Did y'all watch Super Mario Brothers?
I
Not
haven't
yet.
yet.
I did not.
Wait.
But
I did
it
not.
surpassed Sonic, so apparently it's like apparently becoming the number one video game adaptation.
Well,
I
this
guess,
is
or it probably
Sonic
already
made
is.
that much.
hopefully
did
this
pretty
will
well.
start. Oh, this room is gonna be a live action Zelda next, which I'm scared for.
Well, that also goes along with what's been going on. I mean, secretly, you guys have you guys been watching like the little trailers that popped out? Like Gran Turismo actually has a movie coming out.
Yeah.
What?
Didn't they learn with Need for Speed and what was the other one? Like, come on.
Here's the funny thing: the Need for Speed movie was not bad. Since I didn't expect it to be good, it wasn't bad. Like I just expected it to be shit, and it was actually like it was just okay.
Then just watch Fast and the Furious.
I mean, well, we have Twisted Metals coming out on Peacock as well. That looks good.
But I mean, the premise of Gran Turismo is that there's this kid who's been playing Gran Turismo as a car simulator, and some guy gets the bright idea to turn this kid into an actual Grand Prix racer because he's so good at Gran Turismo, the video game, and he wants to prove you can turn a video game player into an actual driver.
That's like putting somebody who's excellent in Call of Duty and say, "Hey, go to war."
Exactly. I was just gonna use that example.
You got like 15 headshots in 15 seconds.
It was
go
like
to war.
I was nasty at DJ Hero, but like I'm still learning real shit. That's not real shit.
Right.
I'm a rock band and I don't know what a chord is.
Like we're good in Resident Evil. Don't put me in some virus outbreak. You think I'm gonna lead these motherfuckers out somewhere? No.
Like I get all the headshots in Resident Evil, but don't put me in real life.
Exactly.
Give me a gun.
I mean, that was the whole premise of it. So I was just like, I guess now I spoke to Justin about this. I said, the era of superhero movies is going to start to come to an end.
Right.
At first, I said it's going to be anime next, but it looks like the era of video game adaptations are next.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, at least with Sony, because all these are Sony products. Last of Us, Sony. Twisted Metal, Sony. Gran Turismo, Sony. So Sony's like, we got a whole bunch of IPs that we can use to build our own stuff. Gran Turismo is like so random. I mean, it's a little random to choose that one of all things. Twisted Metal, I get. And so the fact that Samoa Joe is Sweet Tooth might be good, even though he's not voicing it, which is weird. Like Joe can talk. I don't know why they just didn't let Joe do the voice. But Twisted Metal, I mean, I think we all saw The Last of Us, how brilliant that was. So I mean, it's I'm still hoping
we come out. I'm done.
What?
Banjo-Kazooie?
Sean,
yeah, I think that
if you put it out in the universe, someone will catch it, and then it will come true.
I mean, we're seeing. I mean, we just
video game movies now because of Super Mario Brothers.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be more, way more now. They'll probably do. I won't be surprised.
It got big, so once one studio sees, once you get over 1 billion and the studio sees,
God of War.
Yeah. You're gonna. They did say God of War is next. So.
Yeah, but that's the problem. They think that just because they made billions, that everything they did the first time worked. Like I wasn't the only person who, after he saw the movie, a lot of people have a problem with the princess.
I heard conversations about Peach. Yeah,
they need to fix her in the sequel. Because I have nothing against her being a strong, independent character, but they overdid it to the point where. There's a point in the movie where you say to yourself,
They did that?
Yeah, they made her like they put her in a position where there's a point in the movie where you say to yourself, why is Mario and Luigi here? Because apparently she got everything under control.
Oh God.
Like you almost walked out of the theater like, am I watching the Super Mario Brothers? Or am I watching the Super Peach? Like it's like I get it, like they don't want the damsel in distress. But they kind of like they overdid. Like I loved everything about the movie except her.
Dude, she is damsel in distress. Even in the ladies' game Odyssey, she's a damsel in distress. That's who she is.
She was the best. She was the best fighter. She was the best racer in Mario Kart.
Oh God.
Well, you have to put in that because that's another story that.
That's another day. That's a whole nother rant where. Me and Jerrell gonna be getting hate. We're gonna be called misogynist for that one. So.
Jerrell and Justin are
I don't
upholding
want to
the
see it.
patriarchy.
Now I said that in my review. I said the one thing about the movie I hated was the princess.
So
And then my brother hit
patriarchy.
me up immediately. He's like, "How dare you speak against the peaches?" And I'm like, "Dude,
The
The
peaches.
peaches.
Only egregious will say some shit like that.
like, it's at the point now where she might get her own movie based on that."
Which makes sense.
I mean, she had her own game,
She had a
right?
game.
Actually?
Yeah,
She did. It was the
For the
however,
DS, right?
but people looking back on it also felt that was problematic because how she used her powers was through emotion.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I hope they don't do it based on that game because then they'll definitely have people going after them.
nah, they went the complete opposite on that one.
Yeah, they did.
She's Bruce Lee in this movie. He whooping everybody without a mushroom power.
Well, hopefully the next podcast, everybody has watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Volume 1.
Oh yeah, I want to go see it.
Please don't make me watch it.
See, Justin, I told you, like, yo, Jerrell's gonna be the only one.
Please don't make me watch it.
He's gonna be, which shocking enough, like a lot of people just came back with the same thing. They just thought it was a great farewell to the series. It was very well done. I couldn't. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was definitely better than. It was actually just a solid movie. It actually gives me hope for James Gunn in the DC universe because it was just a really solidly made movie.
It's a sad movie. It's good.
Yeah, you almost cry. You laugh. The jokes weren't too overly done. You know, first time Marvel used the F-bomb. You know,
it was better than the second movie, is what you're saying.
Way better.
Absolutely better than the second
absolutely.
movie.
People actually ranked it where it should be 3, 1, and 2 if you're gonna rank like what was the rest of it. Like 3 was better than 1. 1 was good, but 2 would be the least everybody could deal with.
I can't get that taste out of my brain. I'm sorry.
Leave second one alone. Just think of it as the worst entry. Like a filler,
like Spider-Man 3.
like that movie never happened. There was a Spider. How many times we got Sean? There's no such thing as a Spider-Man 3. That never happened. It's Spider-Man 1, 2. Then he went No Way Home after that. I don't know what he was talking about. He fought some alien. Must be some unseen arc in that film.
We keep telling ourselves that, but
keep telling myself that like Dragon Ball Evolution didn't happen either.
What are you talking about? I don't know what that is.
Exactly. But let's get ready to wrap up.
So the ending of the third Dark Knight movie.
Yeah, let's get ready because we're way past the hour.
I've erased that Robin.
Any last words before we get out of here? Everybody else good? No one has nothing to promote? Nothing?
Go watch Guardians. Check out my segments. Yeah.
She's like, yeah.
Ashley, anything?
We're going to MetroCon July 14th
we are.
through the 17th.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We will be there. Come say hi.
I'll be giving out free comics of Cry Hero. I'll be just dishing out to random people. Yeah, like ordering a whole bunch of books. Just literally going to conventions now. Like, read my book. Read my book. Read my book. So that's.
Who are you? Shut up. Read the book.
Right.
That's exactly what it's gonna be. Some random stranger like, here, free comics. Who is this? Don't worry about it. Here's the card. Just follow it.
I'm also thinking about either going back to the ONG not Twitter, Twitch account or doing my own thing on Twitch. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I had an idea from watching a YouTube channel called Duly Noted. He's doing I've never played, so he's going back to video games that he's never played before. But that has been like, I know it's a lot. That's why I'm going to do it. To try to, to see what he missed. And so I want to do a segment called Never Have I Ever. So it will be kind of like around in that realm of like games, maybe some conversations, that type of thing. So I'm thinking about maybe branching out and doing my own channel. We'll have to wait and see about that. So I've been thinking about that for the summer. MetroCon. I'm trying to think. I'm going to be sleeping. The school year has been tiring.
Don't blame you.
I'm tired.
Yeah, same here.
She crying about. She's like, yo, it's tired.
Yeah, you don't know, bro. These students drain your life force, yo.
I love them. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm a theater teacher. So just trying to get like energy sometimes out of them to give to me. I try to spirit bomb my classes. They don't give me nothing. Oh. So it's but this year's coming I have until June 1st. Our last day for teachers is June 1st. But I'll be hibernating for a lot of the time. So I'll see you guys in my dreams. Maybe.
Sean, any last words?
The only thing I have to say to make it quick, because everybody looks like I got stuff to do right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Monday. Yeah, and she said I'm hungry. Like Nadya.
And that too.
Now you gotta say it like Tyrese. You gotta be like hungry.
I'm hungry.
Speaking of hungry, the only thing I could say that I watched recently, which was a surprise movie, was on Netflix, The Hunger. It's not what you think it is. It's not a horror flick. It's actually about a girl who gets an opportunity to cook with one of the best chefs in the world, and her trials and tribulations going through it. The ending was a lot better. It was a very good ending. It didn't end how I thought it was going to end, but it's not a slow burn. It's actually just an interesting movie from beginning to end. And anybody who wants to do it, check it out. I mean, there are other things on Netflix, but that's one of them that I would say check it out. And if anybody has not watched From yet, you need to sit down and watch From. That is a crazy series, and I'm waiting until the middle of season 2 before I start watching it.
Agreed.
Again,
so definitely watch that.
Well, check me out on my YouTube channel because there are 3 episodes left for both Titans and The Flash. Don't make me cry. I don't know where The Flash is going because the last episode should have been the finale, but there are 3 more episodes to go. 3 more episodes of Titans. Memorial Day weekend, which is my birthday weekend, I will be doing the final Street Fighter 5 stream, which I'm hoping to get Justin on. And I have another episode.
And embarrass me. And embarrass me because I'm trash in Street Fighter, but it's okay.
Well, you just took the fun out of it. And then I have another video coming up. It's in my What to Watch series, where this one myself and my friend H. from Far Rock, we're talking about the series finale of Snowfall. They did my man wrong, and I'm not over that.
I gotta catch up.
Nah, we ain't gonna say nothing. I agree with Jerrell about it, but
I'm behind, but that is like the best show ever.
It's over now.
It blows Ozark out of the park.
Emotion. All I'm gonna say is emotions were felt.
All right, that's it. Put a pin on it until she's done. All right,
Sean, we'll talk about that later.
All right, so my last announcement is me and Des are still hard at work on UWL. I know some of y'all have been asking me and Des, when is season 2 coming? Probably June. I'm literally creating. Me and Des are literally just creating. Des just texted me that he has to finish, and I know Des is gonna watch this. He still has to finish showcase mode because Christy Knight has Leader's Chain now. So for the entrance, and Des didn't finish showcase My Rise. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Is the icon still in UWL?
Huh?
I said, is the icon still in UWL? Did you kick me out?
No. He's still there, but he's still gospel. We got to finish that arc. Yeah, so we're still creating. We're hoping mid-June will be the debut, but right now we're still in the creating process. So actually, the upcoming weeks we'll be doing the best of season 1, like compilation stuff. So first episode is gonna be the best of the religion. So stay tuned for that. So we'll be doing clip shows and everything else like that to hold you guys down. Who've been waiting patiently and I'll probably do a behind the scenes video with me and Des so you can see how we actually create the wrestlers, do the voices and things like that. But otherwise than that, as always, like, share, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching this on Amazon Music, give us a thumbs up. And, if you're listening, not watching on Amazon, if you're listening to this on Amazon Music and YouTube Music and iTunes, Spotify, whatever, however you get your podcasts, spread the word. And that is it for the hour. I'm going to take us out to the intro. Later days. Peace.
Thank you for joining us for Otakus and Geeks, the hour. Support the podcast by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. For more on Justin, you can check out imaginativevisions.com. For more on Nadya, you can check out gothamgeekgirl.com. For more on Sean, check out his podcast, It's Chronicles, on Anchor FM. For more on Jerrell, check out his YouTube channel, Red Eyes Entertainment. Later days.